The St. Louis chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is speaking about alleged discrimination. In a lawsuit, an MU professor is accused of making harassing remarks against a female Muslim student. That student wants the professor to be disciplined and is also asking for damages. And
one of the leaders of that effort says the city can do for Syrians what it did for Bosnian refugees and vice versa.
Right now, the university is saying that they want online sensitivity training. But the reality is that online sensitivity training is not really enough. They believe that there should be meaningful, in-person, cultural competency training to prevent this type of action from happening again in the future.
America needs CAIR, because when we stand up for American Muslim rights, we're standing up for all American rights. And the work we do today, the impact we make today, will have a long-lasting legacy for all Americans tomorrow. For us to stand up, for us to have our voices heard, for us to combat Islamophobia and bigotry and racism against our community. We're not only fighting for American Muslim rights, but we're fighting for all American rights. We're fighting for the Constitution. You and I, we benefit from the legacy and the struggles that have come before us, from the civil rights matter, from Japanese who stood against internment camps, from Catholics who stood for their rights, and so many more people. Now, when it's our turn, we cannot drop the ball. We have to stand up, because the legacy that we leave today will impact not only us, but all Americans now and for those coming in the future. I encourage you to take a stand, to rise up, and to make the change that you want to see in the world.
Posters, you know Faizan, you see them in the press conferences. Anytime there is an issue that relates to Muslims in the community, CAIR is the face of representing the Muslims.
Have an impact as an organized Muslim civil rights organization where they're able to give statements respected and their voices heard.
We would find that civil liberties would slowly erode away for other groups. Whenever you have one group that's marginalized in the society, it's only a matter of time till others are.
A lot of people, especially immigrants, they're not aware of their rights.
I first started working with CAIR in 2012. I would see people attacking Islam and Muslims on TV, especially at that time it was the Ground Zero Mosque controversy. And the one group that every one of these right-wing, somewhat racist, anti-Muslim organizations would target was CAIR. So I realized that's the organization I wanted to work with.
American civil rights is a Muslim issue. So anything that hinders any American's civil rights will hinder a Muslim's civil rights.
State Representative Mike Moon believes Syrian immigrants pose a security threat.
This is something that is completely so vile, so disturbing, so un-American.
The executive director of the St. Louis chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations says the proposal reminds him of the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II.
In cases where there's a hate crime or a case of discrimination, we will then take the legal route and fight that discrimination in the best way that we can, is by going to court and by making sure that those individuals' rights are protected by the courts. Because in the United States, not only is Allah on your side, but the law is also on your side. And we have to be there to make sure that people stand up for their rights and defend their rights against any type of bigotry and racism.
And today, a group of Muslim Americans from St. Louis will announce a federal lawsuit against U.S. immigration officials.
That the administration will take this case seriously.
In light of her accusations, the Muslim advocacy group spoke on campus about discrimination issues and the importance of Fatma's lawsuit.
Recently, the Ayub family was house shopping in South County in St. Louis.
Developing story this afternoon about a possible hate crime in Afton. A family says an armed man threatened to shoot and kill them just because they are Muslim.
When CAIR St. Louis we got involved, it was 3 days later. And at that time, no media coverage, no news about the incident. And not only that, but the man was arrested but then released in 24 hours. We held a press conference and we made sure this made front page news on every station in this region. After that, we met with the county executive, met with the county prosecutor Bob McCullough, and we met with the chief of police. After our meetings, that man was arrested and charged with a hate crime. The best way for us to defend the legal rights of American Muslims is to have an attorney on staff. And alhamdulillah, thanks to all of your support, we've been able to find and hire an attorney who now works with us.
I'm Robert West. I'm the staff attorney for the Missouri chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. I want you to know that we will stand up for your civil rights. If you feel like you are discriminated against, you should absolutely contact us. It's obviously completely free of charge. We don't believe money should ever play a factor in the defense of civil rights of Americans.
Every year, CAIR gives literally hundreds of talks to schools, universities, public education institutions, and so much more. And our goal is that we can't just sue our way to victory. We have to change the culture and the perception that people have of Muslims. The best way to do that is to go out in the field, to meet people one-on-one, and to combat their misconception that people might have.
The Muslim community is engaged with elected officials in a number of different ways. Elected officials by having the Muslim Lobby Day, which we just had this month.
A Muslim Lobby Day, where we take hundreds of Muslims from across the state of Missouri to Jefferson City to learn about how laws are passed and to build relationships with elected officials. Because until we build relationships with these officials, then their misconceptions about our community are not going to go away.
We reach out to the representatives and the congressmen and senators, and we, if there are any bill issues that would affect the Muslim community, we reach out to them and we explain our concerns.
And get to a point that we don't have to actively promote it, that American Muslims should know that it's their responsibility to know their elected official and to build bridges with them.
CAIR-STL does a really good job at educating the youth about their civil rights, about their abilities to be leaders in the community, and in essence, through that education, they're given that empowerment.
CAIR-Missouri is active in empowering the next generation of American Muslims by holding our Muslim Youth Leadership Symposiums, which are one-day workshops where we get multiple speakers to educate the youth on public speaking, debating civil rights, how laws are passed, meeting with elected officials, and working with the media.
Interacting with the media is very important and it should be done correctly and professionally.
The media is how you change the perception of yourself in the public. CAIR is the most successful organization in being active within the media. We're interviewed literally hundreds of times throughout the year. We are active in combating Islamophobia and promoting the American Muslim community using the media. If you're to pay for the media coverage that CAIR-St. Louis has every year, you would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. We give the community hundreds of thousands of dollars of free media promotion because of our activism within the media. And that's my mission, is to create a situation where the American Muslim community is engaged, integrated, involved, so that way they're able to successfully stand on their own 2 feet and not be the victims of prejudice and bias against them. And for us to leave a legacy today that will impact other communities, whether religious or ethnic, in the future.